What's up YouTube, and welcome back for part 16 of the STI build. In this episode we're going to install the Perrin front mount intercooler. Requires the front bumper to come off. There's a few little things that you have to move around and change, and of course routing through the intercooler pipes. So I'm just going to jump right into it. First thing I got to do is actually get the front bumper off, so I'm not going to put you through that. I'll give you a quick explanation of how it comes off. It's basically the grill, which those 4 tabs, a couple tabs that hold on the actual bumper, all going along the bottom, and then these sides are kind of just clipped on, so a good pull and the whole bumper ends up coming off. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the bumper off, and then we'll see what we got to work with. And say so long to the bumper cover. Next we got to get the actual bumper beam out of the way. I'm just realizing by reading through the instructions and kind of seeing how much room's in here, the bumper beam's coming off and probably end up staying off. Or it is staying off. And then from what I can tell, next comes out the intercooler and the mounting brackets for it to start fitting it. So I've dug the Perrin intercooler out of the box, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Everything about it, just the quality look, to the actual welding, to the finish. I expect it to fit absolutely perfect. They've left you a little bit of adjustment in the brackets. This is basically to replace the bumper support beam. So this is now the front crash beam of the car. So just getting into a fender bender, these guys aren't cheap, and it would certainly be compromised in most cases. So the next step is actually to fit this to the car, and before I do, in Mighty Car Mods fashion, got to see how this one sounds, and it's a big boy, so. I mean, this would be better off with 2 people. I'm just supporting it on my knee, and I'm just going to thread in one of the bolts kind of temporarily. The same on the other side. And check clearance, because I can already see this is really tight up against the headlights on both sides, and we're right at the bottom of the adjustment right now. So these bumper supports need to be unbolted from the bottom of the radiator support, and then you need to take a mallet and actually punch in the radiator support, this lip, this pinch weld coming across here. The intercooler is pretty much going to drop right in front of where some of these longer tabs stick out, and you probably want to give yourself at least a good almost an inch clearance. So now the intercooler is actually installed onto the car. I haven't tightened the bolts yet. I probably could, and the instructions say that I can, but I'm going to just start fitting some other parts, including the couplers and some of the pipes going up into the engine bay. And after I'm kind of happy with the way that everything's fitting, I'll go ahead and tighten all the support bracket and all the clamps for everything. So I'm going to jump into a time lapse and start putting this thing together.
That is how I feel when the mirror shows me a stranger. Yeah. And I know they're just fragments of a world where your absence all I get to see. Take me back to the
all the pipes and silicone couplers are completely installed. Started here, so this is the reducer coupler to this little U-bend pipe. Gets pretty tight in here. You do have to trim this piece of inner fender lining to create a little bit of extra room to pass through there, and comes through on this side. You clamp it up at the bottom there and up to here, and then basically this little S-bend silicone coupler for the turbo, just to pull it away from the throttle and the wiring and the bypass hose and everything that's down there. And then leading from the other side, basically the charge pipe coming up, coupler there going across. I really don't like how tight it is in here. I'm gonna have to read through the instructions to see, you know, I mean, fitment to this brake line, it's touching there, it's touching this hose here, so I've left everything loose so that I can rearrange and manipulate the way things are fitting a little bit. But it comes up to the throttle body, and the throttle body coupler could actually be a little bit larger because it's all the way on the throttle, and the pipe is almost up against the throttle. There's just a little gap. It's maybe a half-inch gap in between the two pieces, so that this clamp would actually tighten up just on the edge of the coupler, which is okay, but I'd prefer a little bit wider coupler there. The little return pipe now for the recirc. So basically they give you this flange, and you just reattach your bypass valve or recirc valve back up to there with your gasket. So I'm kind of gotten to the point where it wants me to install the aftermarket overflow tank for the coolant, and because I don't actually have the radiator in place yet, I'm gonna dig it out, and we've actually got to do a little install on it because we're putting in a new coil rad, and it fits the factory fans, so I've got to move the factory fans over the new rad, slide it down into place, and then I can see exactly how this coolant overflow tank goes in.
Sick as fuck, but like, still gotta put out a song for y'all every day, man. 40 I'm tired of praying and not being heard. No, I'm putting in the work, yeah, I'm so absurd. I'm tired of praying and not being heard. No, I'm putting in the work, yeah, it's so absurd. Strip this uniform off my fucking chest. I ain't gonna be a slave to a system in distress. My home life is a wreck, and I ain't ever home wrecking. Just home checking my numbers while I record sessions. A song a week, sometimes it be two. Out on the road, dabbing up, paying dues. It's what you gotta do, but I just need some more blessings. Less stressing with less questions. I stay repping everything from the spread to the 203. I'm a ghost around here, don't try and find me. Cause I'm really just a ghost, I'm really just a myth. I really don't exist, I'm really just a ghost. I'm really just a myth, I really don't exist. I really don't exist. I asked you once, asked you twice, but still not a sound. I'm trying to ask you about these signs you've been throwing around. What does it mean? Am I doing what I'm supposed to? How are you real if I still can't hold you? Lost inside a dream, running towards the light, seeking a state of mind, it's like a twilight. I'm tired of praying and not being heard. No, I'm putting in the work, yeah, I'm so absurd. I'm tired of praying and not being heard. No, I'm putting in the work, yeah, it's so absurd. So absurd, you telling me that I've gone crazy, or maybe I'm just woke and you just broken lazy. Out of focus lately, you better focus, baby, before the game fuck you over like Tom Brady. We ain't fuck with cheaters, we just fuck with winners. I ain't fuck with losers, I ain't no beginner. We ain't fuck with cheaters, we just fuck with winners. I ain't fuck with losers, I ain't no beginner. Ha, you thought I'd bring the hook back, you thought a lot, okay. I'm used to assumptions and conclusions. And my conclusion while assuming is you're really losing. And while you're losing and I'm winning, I'ma show you this. How to get up off your ass and go and make shit. It just starts with the mind and then the body follows. Fucking Snapchat and my IG models. I got my own legacy I'm trying to leave behind. And it ain't about no image I got online. No disrespect, you try and win and I get that. But with no substance, it's really just a setback. I'm tired of praying and not being heard. No, I'm putting in the work, yeah, I'm so absurd. I'm tired of praying and not being heard. No, I'm putting in the work, yeah, it's so absurd.
So I'm at the point that I think I have pretty much the entire intercooler set installed. I went ahead and did install the radiator. I didn't realize that I didn't really need to at this point, but it's better off that it's in there now anyway. The coolant reservoir actually bolts over to the passenger side of the vehicle. You tee into this one line here, put some zip ties. So yeah, all the piping's in. It just needs everything kind of positioned and all the clamps fastened completely everywhere. I did install the bypass valve, like I fastened those with the gasket in there. There's supposed to be a bracket that comes from here down to the intake manifold. Although this style bolt, the way this recirc valve is set up, it's not going to allow any kind of mounting that way. If I got a longer bolt, I might be able to put something on the backside afterwards. Because I mean, you can kind of see it should be positioned somewhere where it's not really going to rub, but you don't want too much of a kink in this hose here, so just a little bit fastening so it won't shake around. So I'm kind of at the point where I am going to fasten all the clamps, and then I'm going to have to pull the front bumper out because the front bumper cover does need a small modification. Needs a little bit trimmed out of it to actually make it fasten back onto the car and clear the intercooler. You guys don't need to see clamps being tightened, do you? I don't think so. Not only did I get the bumper pulled out, I've got the bumper pretty much installed. It requires a lot more trimming than I thought it did. Perrin's instructions are vague to say the least. They seem to be technically written, but whoever technically wrote that didn't really know what they were talking about or something. It's like Perrin handed it off to a third-party company and they kind of looked at stuff and then wrote this thing. Because some of the descriptions are just, I don't know why they used the wording they used, and anyway. So the bumper, it basically needs a lot of trimming in this little cowl area where the front mount actually sits. So this would be the upper piece to it. So that kind of something like this. Anyway, it sat in behind at the top there, and then this bottom piece has actually got the painted edge. So that's why it started to take me so long, because to make a nice, true, even cut through the paint and everything, you need to use a blade. So basically I marked off where the paint had ended and gave myself an extra inch of tape, and then I trimmed it along the tape and just kept on scribing the knife through the plastic over and over and over till I cut basically all of it off. It needed some more trimming, like so that I test fitted it, and the edges needed a little bit more opening and a little bit more across at the bottom at the outer edges. And also Perrin recommends that you take the top corner off this the left fog lamp for that pipe that comes down. It kind of swoops a little bit low and gets close to the fog lamp, so I just took the corner off of that, and so the bumper's ready to actually fasten on. It's all clipped in, but I just don't have the bottoms on. They actually need a little trim as well to make them fit properly. But yeah, major progress getting it together. It's certainly taken time. Getting this part of it done was one of the next things that was going to be quite time consuming, I think. Gauges, they're going to take a little bit of time putting wire through and wiring them up. So I believe gauges is the next video, believe it or not. So you probably noticed the intro in the beginning of the video. that's something I'm going to use in continuing videos. I kind of worked on that for a little while, and then I just got all the clips together and then finalized it last night. It's something that I've been wanting to do for months, but just never really, put the time and effort into actually doing it. I'm sure at some point I'll make something that's a little cleaner and a little nicer, but of course I gotta spruce up my videos a little bit more anyway. Yeah, and just reading through the comments, I realize how many of us are actually eager to hear this thing run, and it's got a very extensive break-in procedure. This block, it has like 2 break-in oil changes and then 2 regular oil changes before the regular interval would be. So it's pretty extensive, and Tyler's probably going to have to take the car and just drive it around easy until he can actually take it down for tuning, which I will not be there for the tuning, but hopefully we can get him to make a clip and then I can upload it. And then of course when the car's finished and it comes back, hopefully me and him can make a video, go for a good long drive in the car, and or we'll do maybe a little Subi meet video and get a couple cars together and go for a cruise. That'd be cool. So yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's a few more videos on this car and we're not quite done yet, but we're getting close. If you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please consider hitting that subscribe button for me. Leave your questions and comments further down below, and I'll see you in the next one.